Good morning, friends. It's time for Make It Monday. Let me move this over. How is everybody? Yep, it's Monday. I hope you saw my post about what we're going to do today, and I have a whole bunch of things that I have here. Okay? So, yeah, let's get started. What I thought we'd talk about today is how, as supporters, caregivers, people that enjoy time with, anybody, sometimes prepping things and having them ready a little bit more can help move the process along, or it's just another option. Because for some, this is the stuff that folks can do or participate in, or maybe they choose to. I have a friend who loves doing like the base layer for me, but I just thought I'd give you some options today. All right. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is usually, I'm working on my table covering, and I put the items on. Now, you can see it kind of blends in, doesn't it? A little bit. It might blend in, and we have to think of folks with visual disturbances or just aged eyes like mine. So, because even look at how it all blends in together. So, contrast is a key thing. So I just wanted you to think about that. So for some, I have cardboard here, which is a brown color, or I have these lids to a box that if we put this on, you can see how it contrasts more. So if you have an individual that kind of loses things in the mix, if we do this, we call this figure ground in therapy terms, but doesn't matter. Just, I want us to stop and think when we're doing this. If we did a whole bunch like this, it kind of blends in. Not too bad, but if I have this white on white, it might be difficult. So, it's just giving you some ideas. All right? So, we're going to use this in a minute. Another thing is, we could have them, let me just get some paint out and we can just start playing. And I'm just using craft white paint, just on these, nothing fancy or expensive. It's just a base layer, okay? And so I have my paint in a dish here, paper plate that I get cheap, and I have different sized paintbrushes depending on different abilities, and I have a roller that we might use too. Well, we are going to use, and even just one of these kind of brushes. It's bigger, can cover more area. Okay, so you know what? Since we're talking about I'm going to use this today to pretty much paint a lot of the stuff. So starting, you're like, okay, we put these on here, and what happens? They move around. So this is what I'm doing today, and this will give us more contrast too. I'm going to use painter's tape. I've done this before, and if you've watched, you've seen me do this, but let's do this again. And I'm going to stick some rows of this tape on here. You might have a better solution for this. This is just what I've done often. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think, or if you have another idea. It's just, I can get this at the dollar store and cheap. So let me see, I need to make that a little bit. It's sticky. Yep. If you hop on, say hello. I would love to know who's here. And you know, as always, I go back later to look at if there's comments or suggestions or whatever, because I can't always see, and sometimes it doesn't come up on my computer. Of course, you know. So, yep, okay. All right, so here we go. I have some of these we're gonna put on. And this just keeps it from sliding all over the place. Sort of, kind of. Sometimes better than others. Here, let's put one of those on there. Let's do a few of these. Doesn't matter what side. We can do another rock, give it another coat. Let's do that, okay? So, I have it all set up, sort of, kind of. Right, so, I have my paint over here. You know, and as always, you can always wear gloves to, you know, protect your hands. I'm not going to today. It's okay. I'm okay with that. Today, some days are better than others. So, all right. So I have my paintbrushes, and so I'm just gonna dip into my paint and just give these a nice coat of paint. So now they're ready for whatever I decide to do next. And you know, I see that this is slipping. We could always put some non-skid matte shelf liner on here to keep it from sliding. That's an option too. Okay. And this one, we'll have to wait till it dries, and then we can turn it over and do the other side. So you be thinking how you can modify and adapt for the individuals that you work with. Or if you're someone who has difficulties with fine motor, how would you do this? And, you know, I just love us all to share ideas and ways to modify and adapt. Let me see if you can, yep, you can see. Okay, just gonna keep going. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just the base coat, just kind of like the primer layer. And it's okay if I get my fingers a little bit in there. I can go over that spot. Give this rock a new purpose in life, to share a message. Okay, you know, I'm going to show you how to do the roller on those. Now you can decide if you want to do both sides or just one side. For these, I want to do all sides, but on the other ones, I mean, some of the rocks, you might want to, but it's just your choice. Let me just see if anybody's commenting. I don't see anybody, but I would love for you to say hello, especially if you listen to the replay. Yeah, let me know what you think. Just checking something. All right. Get a little bit more on this. The wood might need a little bit more paint. It soaks it up pretty good. I'm trying, you know, does your brain get ahead of you some days? I'm thinking, and trying to do at the same time. And you know what? It sometimes doesn't go together, does it? That's for me. So you can laugh at me. It's okay. Because I just had a pause in my brain. Thinking. But I need to be talking to you guys. See, I got to make myself laugh. You have to, especially on a Monday, right? And I'm trying to do tech at the same time. There we go. All right. So if you're just finding me, hello. We're just painting. We're priming things to prep to get ready to do fun stuff with our materials. Yeah. So, all right, let's try the roller a bit on this one. Okay, so I have my roller, and I'm going to put a little paint on there. Let's see. And since either if you're prepping, you could hold it down. Might need, this is a newer roller, so it might take a little bit extra paint to get on there. But if you're working with an individual that might have trouble manipulating the paintbrush, a roller, or if I have my one friend and we make this really long, oh, she's in her glory. In her glory. This seems to take a little more paint, but you get the idea. Need more paint. There we go. This way, if you go to use another color on top of here, it's got a base coat, so the paint will stick. And maybe we won't have less frustration on some of our friends' part. Okay, I'm going to get the dryer out and dry these off. I'm going to turn these over so we can do the other side. How's that sound? Okay, since I have the paint, well, it's not sticking as good now. Sometimes it works better than others. Sometimes I like to use the painter's tape because it doesn't pull up the paint. And so, you know, that's just my thought. So but yeah, you know, when you get the cheaper tape, you know, and this could be very old. I took some time to go through some stuff, and, you know, you find things that have been there for a long time. And that way you find things that you can use in your art projects too. Or to donate to places that, since you aren't going to use it, let's help other people use it and put it to good use. Okay, so I was also thinking we could even decorate one of these so you could see what I might do or what we would do. So I'm going to take one of these squares. So, okay. And you can see it on there. I'm thinking we should paint this side now. So both sides are painted. And you might eventually change the back side color or put something on there. But, so let's dry this. Okay. Now I know it's the fall, and probably right now I'd be doing more Halloween stuff, but I'm also thinking of what we could make for holiday presents and just little tidbits and whatever. So I actually found some napkins that I had used. If you saw me doing the hat, I probably did some of these on the hat. So I grabbed these and was thinking, what if we put some on here? And then we could decorate them even more. So I have my Mod Podge. Or would you think, let's see, that's the same one. Let's just see. I think we'll just stick with this. Yeah, right like that. Okay. So, remember I gotta take the plies off. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna grab a different paintbrush. Dip it in my Mod Podge and put it on. Now you could put it on the tape. I'm just holding it down. Now this would be after you prepped the pieces. This is something you could work on with somebody. Okay, so that's just seeing how the process goes. I'm gonna put it like this. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna grab my other brush. We can call these pouncing brushes sometimes. And I see that we don't have enough Mod Podge there. So let's dip it back in, put some more on. And I'm being very gentle going over. You could dry it and then go over it again. I just did that. Okay, now let's dry this. And when it dries, it gets a little sticky, so be careful if somebody touches. Plus, it could be hot. Okay, I want to see if we could add maybe this down here. And let's see what we have. I even have a yellow one. Ooh, that might be kind of pretty right there. What do you think? I think that looked pretty good. Now, you could paint underneath, but I'm just going to use it the way it is. That way, if you paint it, it'll show through more, but I think I'm just going to do this. This one's already got the layers off. Yeah, I think that'll look pretty. Okay, I'm going to go back to my Mod Podge. And you're like, Pam, you just dried it. I know, but it's okay. It is okay to have several layers. All right. Here we go. We're going to put that on there. We're going to put this one right here. We're going to pounce it down. You know, I don't normally do this, but this one, I don't know if I have my sanding block where you could cut this off, but let's put it to go all the way around. What do you think? I think that'd be good. We're just going to put some Mod Podge here and go around. It's okay. Maybe we'll do something on the back too. This could be a fun ornament. Not sure yet. Or a message on the back. That would be good. So, but this is how we're starting. So we have these, and then you're like, let's add this. Might even add some pen work on it. So this is where it all gets started. We might put some inking on it where the white is. I don't know. But this might be what we do, and then we'll have them. I like that. I like that a lot. What do you think? You'll have to let me know what you think. I'm going to dry this off. This would be a really cute magnet. Who's out there watching me? Say hello. I can't tell. Say hi, don't be shy. All right. So see, that's the start of the process. Isn't that pretty? But you could do any picture embellishment. I love using napkins. I probably couldn't draw this flower. Many of my friends are wonderful artists, but this is just another artistic way to add stuff. Okay? So, yep, let me move this. So what did we talk about today? We talked about prepping and showing ideas to get things started. In therapy terms and stuff, we might call that priming. To do a few of the steps before we're asking others to do it. Depends on what, I talked about, if you have somebody who loves to do this, this is a great job for them. But if working on this and this frustrates them, then that might not be the step. We talked about using tape to hold things down. You know, another way to do this is not doubling it over, but just like one side holding it down. And then I've done this a lot. And then this down. And then what I do is I take another piece of tape and I hold that part down. Because then that holds it down and it doesn't slide as much. What do you think of that? So you see how it's, let's see. Let's take one of our pieces and put it there. Well, that's not sticking. Some days are better than, there you go. And so it keeps it from sticking, sliding. But I think this is older tape. I don't think it has as much stickiness. That's okay. We could do more. We could find something. There's non-skid mats. You could get some cheap non-skid shelf liner, and it's non-skid, and you could use strips of that. That would work good. And you could even glue that on to this so you have your mat right here. I don't know, if I find a piece, I will give that a try later, and then I'll let you know how it goes. All right? So we worked on painting and prepping, and then we started one. And I think that turned out pretty cute, and I'm looking forward to doing more. And rocks, little inspirational messages and little pictures. Maybe we just need, as we're moving into Thanksgiving, little thankful pieces, little messages of thanks. What do you think? Should we work on that more? I'd love your thoughts. I know some of my friends would love to do that. And so if you're supporting them, that might be something that they would like to do, especially if they have people to thank during this season. All right? So let me come on back up here. Get my glasses with the glare. But, okay, so I hope I gave you some good ideas today. I will share more pictures later. Let's put this down. More pictures later. And as we move with our little tidbits and bits of art and whatever, of course we'll share and talk about more. And let's see what we do next week. Maybe more of the same. Let's just keep moving on small items to be quick and more simple than large scale items. So, all right, guys, you have a great day. Good morning, Jacqueline. We're just about done, but I hope you can watch the replay and let me know what you think. All right? So, have a great day, everybody. See ya.